We want to thank everyone who's come today. This is a very special evening for President Friedman and for all of us here, because this is what it's all about: getting the private sector concerned, caring citizens in our community together with our students, and together magic happens. And in this room, we will have the students who are going to go on and make our world better. And it's because of you donors providing the scholarships that they'll have the means to do so. Many of the students that we've talked to have said they could not have attended PVCC, even with the very low tuition that we have, without your scholarships. 2 years ago, Grant Clem, who was the graduation speaker, said he was about to drop out when he was awarded a scholarship from the Educational Foundation, and it gave him the confidence and the courage to go on, and he ended up doing great things and being the graduation speaker, and now at VCU, and he's going to do wonderful things with his life. So this time I want to ask each student scholarship recipient, would you please stand up and allow us to give you a big round of applause for your achievements. Thank you very much. It's very competitive getting one of our Educational Foundation scholarships. We have committees that agonize over the decisions, and you're the ones who come to the top and truly deserve these great scholarships. And now at this time, would also like to ask each of the donors, would you please stand up and allow us to give you a big round of applause. You know, I'm confident that among us tonight we will have people who go on and actually create history. And I want to tell you a brief story. My wife and I actually have created history, and we're from Pennsylvania, and of course it's football season, and we're all excited about football and now coming into basketball. But to grow up in Pennsylvania, I was a Penn State fan, and they had never won a national championship. And so I rooted on. They had great teams, and never won a championship. And then one year, Pam got pregnant. And lo and behold, Penn State won a national championship. So the next couple of years, they didn't win a championship again until Pam became pregnant again. And Penn State won their second national championship. So several years later, we're in Florida, and Penn State was ranked #1 in the nation. And I just watched a game that they won, a really big game, and I'm going crazy. And my daughter, Christine, comes in, who's well aware of the history of us and Penn State. And she said, "What's going on, Daddy?" I said, "Penn State won a big game." And she said, "What are they ranked?" #1. She said, "Are they going to win the national championship?" "I think so." And she looked up, and this is all true story, and she said to me, "Daddy, is Mommy pregnant?" So history can be made in these ways, and so all of you are going to go out in your own way and make history. We have a wonderful program tonight, which is highlighted by students and also by officials here who care so much about students. It was very appropriate that we just said the Pledge of Allegiance, and want to introduce our first speaker, Rosemary Ramirez. And would you come forward, please? One thing that you need to know about her, not only she's an outstanding student, but her husband was deployed 5 times. And so let's give her a big round of applause as she comes up.
Very short story. So, first of all, I want to give thanks to all of the donors tonight. I'm here tonight because of the gratitude of Miss Julie Hayward. She's not here with us. 2 years ago, I was in my house with my 3 kids, and I was just waiting for my husband to come back from his 5th deployment. Um, 2 years ago, the possibility of studying was not even possible. So when he returned from his deployment, he was in Afghanistan. We talked about it, and so we, with a lot of sacrifices, we decided that it was my turn to study. And so it was the fall of 2014, and I attended Piedmont. And so it's been an honor studying here with a lot of sacrifices again. I can tell you that completely that I am grateful for this opportunity. So that being said, I forgot completely what I was going to say. I'm sorry. Can you all forgive me? So yeah, my girls, they're twins, and they are 11 right now. They see all my sacrifices right now, and they're eager to study and to know that if you work hard for your goals, people that work hard for the goals, they achieve something. So I just want to give thanks, and I want that the scholarship, the educational foundation, provide more scholarships, and that the other students can have the benefit of studying here at Piedmont with all your contributions. So thank you. Sorry.
Thank you very much. And one thing that all of us believe in here is the power of education. And we look at community colleges as the people's college. This is the college that helps us to be able to move forward as a nation. And when you look at the miracle of community colleges, you see how our nation can enable people to rise, lower income people to the middle income to the upper income. And it's really what all of us want to see. You know, our children and grandchildren doing better than us because of education. And thinking about the freedoms that we have in our nation to get education, to pursue a business, to pursue happiness, largely dependent on the people in our armed services. So I want to right now ask anyone who has served to please stand up and allow us to give you a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Our second student speaker is Annette Cashot. Annette, would you come up, please?
Hello. Just let you know right off, I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker, so I'm going to do my best. So I was asked to speak about what it meant to have this scholarship, to have the opportunities I have at Piedmont from the Stoltzers. And I kind of made me think for a moment, you know, where I would be if I didn't have these scholarships. And basically, everything, a few years ago, my father passed away from pulmonary fibrosis. And that is it's a terminal, no-cure respiratory condition. And he was the foreman of the soapstone company in Schuyler. So that's kind of how he received that. A lot of, you know, blue-collar workers, you can get pulmonary fibrosis, it's soapstone, asbestos, all of that. And so he passed away. And that kind of left my family in, you know, even more struggles. My mom had been a Army nurse during Vietnam, but, you know, as time went on, she became a stay-at-home mom. So during my dad's, you know, illness, she then went back to work as a school bus driver. And, you know, and that, again, that was, you know, incredible. We were continuing on. She's being very strong. But she was diagnosed almost 2 years ago. It's been a little bit less. with stage 3 cervical cancer. And so we live in Nelson County, so 5 days a week we would go to UVA for radiation and chemotherapy for months, back and forth from Nelson to UVA. So, but she, she's been incredible. She's an inspiration to me with, the amount of love and dedication that she's had. And so one thing that I found during that time, and one thing I found during the time of both of my parents' illnesses, are the nurses and staff at UVA and at Health South and at Martha Jefferson who really, really cared for them and who really loved, and they came every day. They, no matter how cranky either of my parents would be or what was happening, they would just they came in 100%, and that inspired me to become a nurse. So at this moment I am in the nursing program at Piedmont, and I could not do that without the opportunities Piedmont's offered me. I've always worked a job since I was 17, and at least one job, sometimes more, but as time goes on, I have to focus on school and less on the jobs, and the scholarships and the opportunities Piedmont's offered have made that possible. So, thank you.
Thank you, Annette. I had the opportunity to speak to each of the 3 students before, and it's just so inspiring. And I think all of us have challenges in life, and it's really an incredible compliment to you that you're able to face those challenges, work hard, and keep going, and with the help of caring donors, moving in a direction that you're going to help people as they're going through challenges in the future. So thank you. And our next student speaker is Dimitri Veronin. And Dimitri, would you come up, please?
Hello, fellow scholars. Thomas Jefferson once said that eternal vigilance is the price we pay for liberty. If you had known me 3 semesters prior, the chances of me pursuing a degree at this college were slim to none. As shocking as that sounds to me now, it was a reality I had to face. As a new hiree at Sheets, I opted for the 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. shift. Those hours allowed me to continue volunteering at my local fire department, as well as wrestle with my tuition bill. After I received a student loan plan to cover my costs, I counted the hours I had to work to close it. I still remember the amount, 384 hours without lunch breaks. I had to give up my romance with ham and cheese sandwiches to cover the cost. I felt discouragement before, but nothing like this. The feeling of limitation was so strong, I considered myself chained to a post. Depression strikes during times that matter most. My grades suffered. My involvement with the fire department dwindled. I felt worse than the day I lied to my parents about a bad quiz grade in high school. Sorry, Mom. The Education Foundation broke the chains to my unfulfilling life. The Joy Prothers Barrett Scholarship allowed me to put in my 2 weeks' notice and make great strides towards my goal of graduating. As my financial burden was lifted off my shoulders, I gained the confidence to run for various officer positions within this wonderful college. I am proud to say that I now hold the position of Director of Public Relations for both Phi Theta Kappa, the National Honor Society, as well as Mu Alpha Theta, the Math Honor Society. My right to a pursuit of happiness was readmitted to me by the foundation, the support of the faculty, as well as you, the donors, who continue to invest in the success of students like me. I am proud to say that I'm going to graduate in the spring semester next year with an honors degree in computer science. I possess a Thank you. I possess a determination to sit where you sit now and offer a scholarship of my own to pay forward what was invested in me. Thank you, George Barrett. Thank you, Albert Covell. Thank you all for your eternal vigilance.
You know, on Tuesday, a story in the Daily Progress featured our president, Frank Friedman, talking about what we as a society can do to make life better for all of us. And first and foremost was for us to do more to allow people to get good jobs, to be able to rise above their circumstances and to do well with their careers. And this is the kind of spark that I think President Friedman was talking about that we need more of. We need more people who care about helping students. We need more people who think of others rather than just themselves. We need more people who, when they look at themselves at night, consider what they do for others as the criteria of whether they had a good day. So that again is part of the magic of tonight. And the next three individuals I want to introduce you to are part of the official family here that do so much to make it possible for our students to succeed. And I want to start with the chair of the College Board, Ava Pippin. And Ava's chair of our volunteer PVCC College Board, and she is going to give us a welcome from the College Board. Ava?
Thank you, Dr. Ross. As Dr. Ross said, I'm Ava Pippin. I'm current chair of your College Board, and I'm representing my home county of Louisa, and of course, speaking on behalf of my fellow board members from Albemarle, Buckingham, Charlottesville, Fluvanna, Greene, and Nelson counties. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and especially to be attending with Mrs. Eugenia Bumpus, a longtime Louisa resident, a donor, and the first College Board representative from Louisa County to PVCC. It's an honor for me to be following, or at least trying to follow, in her footsteps. Thank you, Mrs. Bumpus. The College Board owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to each and every one of you scholarship donors here tonight. What a difference you've made in the lives of so many scholarship recipients. And scholarship recipients, thank you for coming this evening to meet and pay tribute to those who have so generously given of themselves and have afforded you an exceptional educational opportunity. An opportunity we trust you will not take lightly or for granted. These donors have truly made a significant investment in your future. I can only urge you to pay it back. Return the favor by continuing to make your sponsor and PVCC proud, not only in the classroom, but in all aspects of your total college experience. Participate in college activities and social events as much as possible. And when you do, remember that you are representing an elite group of students who have already stood out in the scholarship selection process and made a very favorable first impression. And make that impression a lasting impression. I'm sure you'll not soon forget who or what helped make your studies here at PVCC possible. Dress and act the part and keep striving for excellence in all of your life and in your choice of careers. And finally, I'd like to offer our board's congratulations once more to all our scholarship recipients. Best wishes for your academic and lifelong success, and thank you for choosing PVCC. Donors, your financial commitment and the trust you've placed in PVCC to provide these scholarship opportunities to these very deserving and promising individuals is sincerely appreciated. Kudos to Dr. Ross and the PVCC Development Office staff and to the PVCC Educational Foundation Board for making this gathering possible tonight. It is truly a night for giving thanks and remembering PVCC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ava. By the way, speaking of giving thanks, that's the concept here, why we're doing this as an early Thanksgiving dinner, again, a night of thanks. And when we look around the room, it's just so appropriate, a Thanks-for-Giving dinner. This is our largest turnout ever. We have 156 people here. So it was really something to see all of you go through that line so quickly. And I was timing you. It averaged 2 minutes and 5 seconds per table, and that's amazing. So our next speaker is the president of the PVCC Education Foundation Board, Mr. Rob Capon.
Greetings on behalf of the Education Foundation Board. Jim asked me to speak and just say a few things in very brief remarks to give you my best advice for a successful life. And my first piece of advice for having a successful life is never find yourself on a podium as a speaker following 3 inspiring students like that. It's a terrible idea. When I turned 40, which was 17 years ago, my wife had a party for me, and she sent out the invitations, and she said to everybody, in lieu of gifts, please give Rob your best advice for leading a happy life, and confine your answer to an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Made a great notebook. I have all these answers. My favorite answer came from Bill Gray. Some of you may know him in town, and it was a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and it was blank except for the little words in the middle that said, "Listen to Rose and do everything she says." Tonight, I would like to speak to you as a second-generation American. You know, we're in the process of doing some family genealogy, and I have always been very interested in seeing if I could find how my grandparents came to America. And Ancestry.com is just a lot of fun, and we've actually found the vessels that they came on. But we found out other things also. For example, I didn't know that my grandmother left Europe the day before Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, and soon thereafter they closed the ports. That was very interesting. June 27th, 1914. She was married in 1924, but I did not know that she had ever worked. But we have the 1920 census document, and my grandmother, Yetta Herman, her occupation was listed on the census form. She was a feather chopper. Now, I'm not quite sure what that is. It might have been hats for garments, but if you're chopping feathers, more likely, I tend to think it's probably for pillows and mattresses and the like. And she had a second-grade education. My other grandmother, she came here in 1922, and the passenger list said that she could not read and write. And I called my cousin Bonnie, and she said, yes, you know, Grandma was just always very ashamed that she never learned how to read and write, and she never applied for citizenship because you had to take a written test. My other grandparents did, but my grandmother Sophie couldn't take the test because she couldn't read and write. And they did the kind of jobs that people did during the Depression where they had no education. In my grandmother Yetta's family, my uncle was a letter carrier. He had a high school education, and my mother was a secretary. And me and my brother and my cousin were the first to go to college in that family. And my brother got a PhD, and he invented Factor VIII and Enbrel, 2 important drugs, and I've had an entrepreneurial career. And my first cousin Bonnie got a master's degree and has had a good career working for the state of New York. And so I think that we have followed this American dream, and what I would say to you is that education is, is the answer. It's how you, you really build a better future for your family. Last year when I was here, I gave some statistics, and the statistics bear them out. First of all, the percentages of people with degrees, 88% high school, 41% associates. So when you have an associate degree, you're already in the top 40% from an educational point of view. 31% bachelor's and 10% master's or PhD. So as you pursue your education, you already distinguish yourself. During the height of the unemployment crisis in 2013, when unemployment was 8%, college graduates had a 4% unemployment rate, associates 8%, high school 12%, no high school 15%. So even when the unemployment rate was 8%, if you had a college degree, 4%. That makes a big difference. In terms of earnings, $650 a week for high school students, $777 for associates, bachelor's degree $1,100 per week, and masters or higher $1,300 per week. So what I would say is these are the statistics that really bear out that message, which is a message of the American dream. So to the donors, I just want to say thank you. You're changing lives one by one. To the recipients, congratulations. You've taken the first step. You've excelled in your course of study. You've won your scholarship. You've found a way to finance your education. And it has not always been easy. You've faced challenges. You've worked your way through school. And I admire your determination, and I can personally relate to you. When things get difficult, you may hear 1,000 investment ideas. And some people will tell you stocks and bonds and gold and real estate. But I can tell you your best investment is your education. It's an investment in yourself, and so I would urge you to find a way to continue your education as far as you possibly can. And I just wanted to close and just ask by a show of hands, do we have any first-generation Americans here today? Your first generation in the country? And any second generations Americans? Well, you're part of the American dream, and I wish you all well in your future endeavors. And to all of you, I congratulate you, and whatever you do, please find a way to continue your education as far as you can take it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob. You know, when you look at the definition of leadership, you have a lot of theories. And the one that I think that I agree with the most, a leader is someone who brings out the best in others. And when I came here almost 3 years ago for my interview, I had a chance to meet great people, and at the end of it, had the chance to have lunch with President Friedman, and had the sense of a community of people who truly care, and that President Friedman's idea about leadership was bringing out the best in everyone, and seeing this shared governance philosophy working at its best is really incredible. You know, volunteer college board, volunteer foundation board, faculty, staff, students, all working together, and the end product is we don't have a lot of people go around fighting each other. We have people who work together to make this institution better and the community better. And I think that's a model that we can use nationwide right now. And that comes from that spirit of collaboration and working together that President Friedman expressed almost 3 years ago to me and has exhibited each day since then. So it's my honor to introduce the president of PVCC, Frank Friedman.
Thanks, Jim. Am I last? I ask that because last night at the Chamber of Commerce dinner, I was speaking, and I was last there. And as Chad knows, the chair of the Chamber of Commerce Board is here, Chad Zagabe. And Chad had given this wonderful speech about the Chamber, and Brian O'Connor, the UVA baseball coach, had given a wonderful speech about teamwork and excellence. And by the time I get up to speak, it's like, what what am I going to do? What am I going to say? I had this long speech written out, and almost everything I had in there had already been said. Well, here I am again. I mean, what is there to add? We've heard from 3 wonderful students. We've heard from 2 wonderful leaders at our college. I don't know what more I can add, but I will try. I'm never short on words. If you give me the microphone, I'll say something. I guarantee that. Let me talk to the students first. Well, I'll talk to everybody. You heard those 3 students. I think you get a sense, just from them, of who are PVCC students. They are people who are trying to make a better life for themselves. They are people who are overcoming obstacles, many obstacles of which weren't their doing, but they are their problem to solve. They are working hard to earn this education that Rob so eloquently talked about. You know, about 75% of our PVCC students work at least 20 hours a week while going to college. I always call that a unique form of financial aid. It's called hard work. And that's who our students are. And I think you heard from the 3 tonight, and you get a sense of how important this is to our students, how much it means to them, how much it means to their families, and what they're willing to do and how hard they're willing to work to earn that education and make a better life, and as Rob said, pursue that American dream. To me, they are my heroes. I've worked at community colleges since 1977, and for me, it's not just a job, it's a life, it's a calling for Sue and I both. It's what we believe in, it's what we care about, it's what we dedicate our life to. These words back here, opportunity, access, excellence, they're not just words on the slogan, they're what really matter the most to us and we give our life to. And when you meet these students, you realize it's all worth it. To the donors, all we can say is thank you. You are doing something wonderful, and I hope you feel good about it. You should feel good about it. You're making this dream possible for these students, and that just means so much. To our students who are the recipients, I think Dimitri said it very well when he said, pay it forward. Do you remember that movie? Have you ever seen that movie? I always loved that movie. I'm a real sentimentalist when it comes to movies. I loved that movie. I know it wasn't very successful, but I loved it. The idea that these donors don't expect you to pay them back, but what we all expect of you is to pay it forward. Someday you'll be out there. You'll be successful in your job, in your career. You'll have money in the bank. Boy, that sounds good, doesn't it? Remember this night. Remember these scholarships. Remember what it means to you, and do that for someone else. We'd love for you to do it here at PVCC, but if it's not here, do it somewhere. Help someone else. You will feel so good about it. It'll be the best money you've ever spent. I guarantee that. So to each of you tonight, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this really wonderful institution that we all have such an honor to work at. Thank you for being part of really our PVCC family. And we wish to you and all your loved ones a wonderful Thanksgiving, the real Thanksgiving, not this one, but the real Thanksgiving. We wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving, a wonderful holiday season, and we hope you'll always stay connected to PVCC. Thanks and good night.